Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'd like to start by addressing three very simple questions. How is North Africa relevant to the discussion we're having today? And then see introduce you to Morocco's industrial policy since 2014. And then we'll see why there's a momentum for Morocco right now. So first, I'd like to reflect on this picture. What do you see? You see the view that had Ferdinand Magellan when he started his first world tour. So this is Morocco seen from Europe. So if you see there's 8 miles between Africa and Europe, you have 75% of European imports that transit from this Detroit, and then the route continues to Brazil, America, the USA, etc. So why is this important? It's because you have the Tangier Med port facility that's just there. And what we mean by this port facility, I had a discussion with a Dutch CEO from a global company. He said Tangier Med is very much a service station on the very main road of maritime globalization. So what you get there is the difference of average wages between Morocco and Spain. It's 5-fold. And you get connectivity to more than 160 cities and countries in the world. So this is the place to be. There's an explosive cocktail of competitivity in the north of Morocco, and the Tangier Med, as I mentioned, is the connection between the Moroccan economy and the global economy. So now we'll talk about North Africa. North Africa, there's been a huge strategic change, because before you had growing Europe, you have a Mediterranean region which was marginal, and then Africa which was even more marginal. So that was the situation before the 90s, before the fall of the wall. Right now you have mature Europe, demographically and economically, and then you have the Mediterranean that got back its central situation that it has in antiquity. And why is it central? Because you have all the growth, the highways of growth in the world right now are situated in Africa. So that's why the Mediterranean and North Africa has a very special situation that must be, you must keep it in mind when you think about opportunities for American companies in Africa, Europe, etc. And as you understand it, the strategy of Morocco is very simple. Our aim is to interface Europe, Africa, and America. It's very simple. So you see there how the free trade agreement between Morocco and the USA integrates into this strategy of interfacing Africa with Europe. And this is important because on the other half of the picture you can see that we have also FTAs with very big countries like Egypt, Turkey, the Emirates, and Jordan. So there's a way there for American products and companies not only to address the African growing market, but also to address the European mature markets and make way to the Gulf Cooperation Council countries. So this is why North Africa is relevant right now. This is a headline from the Financial Times making a comparison between the strategy of Morocco and North Africa and the one that was pursued by Asian countries. So basically, it's a theory by a Japanese economist, Akamatsu, and his theory is that countries, they move upstream the value-added chain. So that's what Morocco is doing right now after Eastern European countries. Why North Africa and Morocco are relevant? First factor, first change, strategic change, is the 13th China Communist Party plan, which has very voluntarily set up the path for a growth in the minimum wage in China. So the minimum wage went from $150 in the eastern provinces to now it's over 2,000. So this is the first strategic shift that is making North Africa relevant again. The second shift is a demographic one, because you know that right now when you want cost competitiveness, you have to go to see what's done in Eastern European countries. And you know that those countries, they have very low unemployment and demographic challenges. You see there, Poland will lose 10% of its population in 30 years. So there's a very tense pressure on the wages and job markets in Eastern European countries, which are our competitors. You can see there the headline from Bloomberg about those pressures on wages in Eastern European countries. You have double-digit figures of wage growth. So this is why North Africa is very relevant. And if you take a step back and see the bigger picture, if you compare NAFTA countries with Asian +3 countries, with Euromed countries, when I say Euromed, it's Europe plus North Africa, you can see that, well there's a problem of, well, no problem. You can see that North-South foreign direct investment inside the NAFTA zone is about 16%. So 16% of Canadian and American foreign direct investments go to Mexico. So the same thing goes for ASEAN +3 countries, so as ASEAN countries plus Japan, plus Korea, plus China. That ratio is 20%. And when you see the North-South investment influx between Europe and North Africa, the ratio is only 5%. So what does it mean? It means that we have a potential for 11% of EU FDIs that are phantom FDIs. They should be there, but they don't exist. That's a major opportunity for American companies which want to scale between Europe and African markets. Those 11%, they represent about $60 billion each year of FDIs opportunities for North Africa, not only for Morocco, but from the region that stretches from Morocco to Turkey. So I'd like to just, because Americans sometimes, when you say, I went to Europe, they think all of Europe is a single entity, and the same goes for North Africa. What North Africa really is the southern part of Europe, and I'll try to demonstrate why. First, if you see the map, not the political map, but the demographic map, where people live and who are their neighbors, you can see that the Maghreb, North Africa, is very much an archipelago of southern Europe. So you have 600 million Europeans, another 100 million Russians, Turkey, Egypt, and Maghreb country with 100 million. So overall, you have 1 billion people living in this Euromed area. And those this billion people living in Euromed, they compete with another billion coming from Western Africa and another billion coming from Eastern Africa. And I don't even mention China and India and those very big global players that are in the global marketplace. So this is why you should think of Morocco as southern Europe. You can see it there in this, it's an old map, but it's very telling about how Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, Spain, Portugal, they're all the same in the same basin. They're all in the same archipelago or corridor. It's the Iberia-Maghreb corridor. And this is interesting because it's not only a geographic reality, it's also an economic reality. It's there. You can see it when you compare, when you see, you know that Morocco has investment grade by Standard & Poor's and Fitch ratings. But you can see that the most comparable country to Morocco, it is Spain, not our competitors like Egypt and etc. So this is telling about the stability of the Moroccan economy is related to the fact that we are part of this Iberian corridor. The other telling figure here is the evolution of the market share of Morocco on the European market. So you can see that we export more than Ukraine, Egypt, Tunisia, Israel also. So this is telling about the extent to which Morocco is integrated inside the European market. And this has very concrete consequences on the way Moroccan companies work on their standards of quality. So there you have an OECD graphic showing the extent to which Moroccan companies adopt international norms and standards. And you can see here in red the European standards that have begun to take place since 2014. So this is very recent. This is very an important move that is a young move, let's say. So this is the amount of European quality standards in Morocco that are implemented in Morocco has doubled in the past 4 or 5 years. I'd like to give you a very broad picture about Morocco's industrial policy. What I say when I meet with investors, I say you won't come to Morocco because of competitive wages. Because if you want competitive wages without quality, you have other countries to look for. You know that the minimum wage in Morocco is higher than the minimum wage in Bulgaria, which is an EU member state. So why do all those foreign investors flock into Morocco? The answer is simple. It's before you. It's the quality and sophistication of the public-private partnership. And I'll try to describe to you how this PPP partnership works. There are researchers, this one is a German researcher, that tried to describe those ecosystems, and you see that's a way of working, a way for the Moroccan state to have a seat at the table and help private company and foreign private company and work with the national SMEs and work with the principle of co-petition. People who don't talk together usually, they can talk together because Moroccan state has a seat at the table. So I'll try to describe it very rapidly. The first ecosystem we have, let's take the example of the automotive industry. We have Renault in Tangiers and the suppliers of Renault, obviously. And then we have PSA, which is in Kenitra, which is the second ecosystem with those suppliers. And we have another investor that's committed to Morocco, which is BYD. For those of you who don't know who's BYD, BYD is a Chinese company. It's a Chinese car manufacturer. It's the first worldwide manufacturer of electric cars. BYD's R&D department has more people than Tesla altogether. It's 16,000 people in the R&D department of BYD. So this is a massive player that will invest €500 million in Tangier, in Morocco, producing electric cars. So how do we deal with those three car manufacturers? First, the state commits to help them with direct subsidies or direct subsidies for the heads of the ecosystems. And then the state commits to help the suppliers of those heads of ecosystems to come to Morocco. For example, if they have a problem of competitivity at a certain level, we help them come bring their suppliers into Morocco to be competitive. And then the Moroccan state signs a contract with the head of ecosystem for a commitment of local integration of value added on the Moroccan territory. So this is important. You'll see the numbers and the figures after. And then the heads of the ecosystem, they signed sourcing contracts with the Moroccan states so that they commit to buy a certain amount, 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion of parts from Moroccan SMEs and from the Moroccan economic tissue. And this is important because you see in the slide the AMICA. AMICA is the business federation for automotive industry in Morocco. So we help them integrate with those suppliers into the ecosystems, and this is why what I told you about quality system of Morocco is very important. And then we closed the loop by signing performance contracts between the AMICA and the SMEs and the Moroccan state, setting targets for training, human capital, and job creation. So the loop that you see here, this is the example for the automotive industry, but you must understand that this is only an example, and we've done this for over 12 industrial sectors in Morocco. Also for the automotive industry, you can see here the exports from Morocco, and there you see $1.3 billion of local, the added value that is situated on the Moroccan territory. So overall, for 3 years, we had relocated $12 billion of value added into the Moroccan territory. And this is very important because it makes the ecosystems go deeper, and then it helps Moroccan SMEs go upstream the value chain. What I was saying about the automotive industry being just an example, this slide will show you that we did this, and we created over 49 industrial ecosystems in Morocco in all kinds of sectors: pharmaceuticals, chemicals, agro-industry, you name it. 49 ecosystems, the likes of the automotive one I showed you as a sample. You have to imagine the very large body of contracts and transactions this represents. And this is why our friend from Boeing said the Moroccan administration and the Ministry of Industry has experience. It has experience in managing those PPP partnerships. The results is that you're seeing net manufacturing job creations. They're peaking in 2016, but they are even more peaking in 2017, and confirming that the strategy is working and will give even more results in the coming years. We talked very much about the competitiveness and costs and logistics, but you have to understand that Morocco is also a frontier country for innovation, and I'll show you why. First, you have this Bloomberg map showing that Morocco is among the 50 most innovative countries in the world, and this means something. Because we outrank countries like Spain, Portugal, Turkey in terms of high-tech density. We also have better performance than Thailand, Argentina, and Latvia for R&D density. And you'll see that Moroccan companies are very innovative. This OECD graph shows that we are sometimes more innovative than Turkish companies or Polish companies. You have this map that is very telling about, we spoke about blockchain, AI, and things like that. You see that this is a map from it's sourced the White House report on artificial intelligence. And it shows that Morocco has a real card to play in terms of AI and capacity building and quality of the human capital. We have a lot of engineers. We have a very old tradition of mathematics. So in Morocco, you have all the enablers for growth. You have quality, you have a state that is business friendly, and you have human capital that's innovative, and SMEs that go on innovation. So now I'm almost finished. Why Morocco now? The short answer is that Europe will boom in the years to come, more than Asia, more than America. And then you have this huge opportunity in Africa. We've talked about it all day long. You see here the part of the worldwide workforce that will come from Africa is still ahead, and I think in 5 years, more than 1 out of 2 workers worldwide will come from Africa. What this means? It doesn't mean that Africa will be the market for growth, and it means that, but also it means that the African question or the African issue will become a global issue. It's not a regional issue. It's not an issue for Morocco. You see Japanese companies coming to Africa because they see their future there. You see Indian companies coming to Africa because they see that the solutions for the future will come from Africa. And especially Africa will set the technological standards for all the solutions that will be available for all emerging markets. So it is vital for all global companies to make a move in Africa, and Morocco is ready to help them. So why Morocco now? First, because we are a resilient country. I don't like the term stable. I prefer resilient. We're resilient, why? Because we're on the path to democracy. You can see here that we have almost 7 years of continued improvement of democratic indicators. You can see also, that's why we talk about stability. We are stable like Portugal, like you see. And also, we'll come to Morocco because we have a consistent strategy. I told you about the industrial strategy, but all over, there's a business-friendly approach in Morocco that is very pregnant, very important for the state and the private sector. You can see that we outperform all North African countries, and I told you how North Africa now is very relevant, so this is interesting for us. And we have a proven track record because, as I said, there are results in terms of job creations, but there are also results in terms of, you can see here Standard & Poor's saying that we invest in Morocco as a percentage of GDP, we invest like Turkey, which is a very fast-growing economy. And we also export like Spain. You can see that we export more than Spain as a percentage of GDP. So we have a proven track record saying our policies work, and I thank you for your attention.